Hello, grade 6. So this is where we stopped yesterday in our play on page 297 in your literature anthology textbook. So we stopped here. We finished page 297 and stopped at the last sentence that continues on the next page. So what has happened so far? We know that we're looking for, or Mickey is looking for, the magic marker mischief maker. Okay, and Mrs. Abrego at this point has claimed that the author of the email, or the person who sent the email writing about who they saw writing the graffiti on the wall, this person claimed to be an eyewitness, all right, which means that they saw the event themselves. And after Mickey reads the email, he says that it seems Bucho is the one who is most likely guilty. So we know that the email here must claim that Bucho is the culprit. We also have several clues that point to Bucho being the mischief maker. Okay, and this is where you come in, Mickey. I was filled with indecision about what I should do about this, but now I think I've found an answer. I need you to find out who is to blame for the graffiti. Can you help me? You can count on me. Mickey Wrangle is on the case. Good. Whatever you need, please don't hesitate to ask. In fact, think of me as your benefactor. So let's think again. Let's summarize the clues that we have so far. So we know that someone has been writing graffiti on the walls, saying bad things about Principal Abrego, and the clues suggest that Bucho is responsible, but Bucho is saying he is innocent. So Mickey is taking on the case. Act 2, Scene 1. First lunch period. Mickey is eating at a table in the school cafeteria. With him are his friends Belinda and Johnny. Joe, another student, is sitting alone at a nearby table, eavesdropping on Mickey and friends. You know, Mickey, I'm not the only one who thinks the school would be a better place without that bully Bucho. I can't even count the multitude of times he's knocked my book bag off my shoulder, as if that were some kind of big joke. Belinda looks reflective for a moment. Come to think of it, though, he's walked past me a couple of times the past few weeks and nothing's happened. Well, all I can say is I thought it was just a myth about the school bully taking your lunch, but it's true. He hasn't done it for a while, but I still bring rice cakes and celery sticks for lunch because it's the only stuff he won't try and steal from me. So Johnny has started bringing healthy food to school because otherwise Bucho steals his food. Yeah, but what kind of detective would I be if I'm presuming a kid is guilty instead of presuming he's innocent? Not a very good one, and Principal Abrego has been having talks with him, and she claims he's really trying hard to be less of a bully lately. You might be right about that, but I'd be able to bring a sandwich for lunch again if you did assume he's guilty and found the proof of it. I mean, it's Bucho we're talking about here. Joe looks over his shoulder at Mickey and friends, smiles to himself, and rubs his hands as if he's won a game of chess. He coughs into his fist. Bucho's a loser. Mickey turns to Joe. I'm sorry. Did you say something, Joe? Who, me? Nope. You must be hearing things. Maybe, Joe, but I thought I heard you say Bucho's a loser. I said no such thing. Like I told you, Mickey, you must be hearing things. Get your ears checked. You're probably right. Mickey turns back to his friends, thinks for a split second, and then turns back to Joe. Say, Joe, why are you eating all alone? Don't you normally eat lunch with Bucho? He is your best friend, isn't he? Yeah, well... Joe scans the room as if looking for somebody. Maybe he isn't, maybe he isn't. Anyway, I'll bet he's probably out marking up a wall somewhere. And I think your pals here are right. Bucho's your man. What is it they say about leopards and their dots? Spots, Joe. You mean spots. So this is a famous saying, leopards can't change their spots, and he makes a mistake here and says dots instead of spots. Yeah, whatever. But like I'm saying, he's so dumb he's even signing his tags with a B, right? Joe stands up and takes his tray off the table. Funny way to talk about your best friend. Joe gives Mickey a hard look and then departs without saying anything. Mickey turns back to his friends and thinks for a couple short beats. Anyhow, I'd like to see Bucho gone too, but I made a promise. Johnny, it's not so simple for me. I've got to do the job right, even if it means going against my gut instinct. So what are you saying, Mickey? You think he's innocent? If you ask 100 kids who they think is leaving those messages around the school, 100 of them will say it's got to be Bucho. Who else would it be? He's probably not bullying people as much now because he has a new endeavor, writing graffiti. But a survey isn't evidence. But you do have evidence, don't you? You said the principal showed you the email in which someone claimed to have seen Bucho in action writing on the wall. That's circumstantial, not in the least incriminating, without anything else of substance. So here the principal and Mickey know that Bucho is a bully, but they give him the benefit of the doubt. Of course, Mickey's friends are not happy with this because they know that he is a bully and they think that there should not even be an investigation. They think, of course, it is Bucho who did it. But there's something interesting that happens here on page 299. So Joe here gets the saying wrong. The saying is leopards can't change their spots. He says dots instead of spots. And this tells us that the author might want us to know that Joe is not familiar with phrases, and he may make other mistakes. And think about the mistake that was made earlier, the spelling mistake. So what about the letter B the culprit has left behind as a kind of signature? Is Joe lying about that? Also circumstantial. I mean, if a B is all we've got, who's to say it doesn't stand for Belinda? Belinda looks as though she's been accused. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it is you. I'm saying a B is not enough to prove a guy's guilt. Are you saying you're not willing to stand with me? With us? And instead you're going to side with Bucho? That's not it at all. What I'm saying is I've got to do this the right way. I would think you'd understand that my work and doing it right are important to me. No, Mickey, there's nothing right about Bucho's ugly behavior all these years. Do you really think a few weeks of acting nice can erase years of mean behavior? Whatever. It's up to you to do the right thing. Belinda stands suddenly and walks away. Belinda just doesn't get it, Johnny. I'm a detective. I took an oath to dig and dig until I find the truth, even if I don't like the outcome. I'm not saying it's not Bucho, it's just that I need extensive evidence to prove that it is him. He pauses and looks at Johnny. Besides, putting the blame on Bucho without evidence is just another form of bullying, isn't it? Only this time we'd be the bullies. Johnny looks thoughtful and walks away. Act 2, Scene 2. Second lunch period. Mickey is sitting alone, deep in thought, unaware that the bell has rung. Suddenly, Bucho looms in front of Mickey. Hey, Mickey. I imagine Miss A told the story. Somebody's trying to frame me for all this graffiti, and I bet you won't believe me, but it wasn't me. And you're the only one I trust to uncover the truth. I told Mrs. A I would, so I'm going to help any way I can. Okay, bro. Say, you going to eat that? Before Mickey can answer, Bucho reaches for Mickey's brownie and swallows it in one bite. Then he walks away from the table with his own tray in hand. Hey, Bucho. Bucho turns. How do you spell principal? As in Mrs. Abrigo, the school's big cheese? First, are you kidding? What other kind of principal is there? Second, are you making fun of me? Because if you are, Bucho shakes a fist at Mickey. But then he thinks better of it and puts his hand down. So spell it. Bucho, scowling and exaggerating his pronunciation, says Principal, as in Mrs. Abrigo is our pal. Satisfied? Yep. Bucho walks away, this time for good. Act 3. Outside the school playground where Principal Abrigo, Bucho, and others have gathered in front of the site of the latest graffiti. Mickey enters from stage right. There you are, Mickey. As you can see, I've asked Bucho to join us, as you requested. Can we get started now? Beyond Principal Abrigo and Bucho are a multitude of kids playing different games. Among them are Joe, who is noticeably nervous and keeping a careful eye on the developments from a safe distance. And Belinda, who is standing against a wall nearby. Sure thing. First of all, you are right. In the case of the magic marker mischief maker, someone other than Bucho is responsible for this graffiti. My first clue was the curious spelling. Only 2 weeks ago in English we were studying homophones. One set of words we were asked to learn included the principal set. Yeah, that's right. Miss Garza gave us a trick to remember how to spell it. Mrs. Abrigo, the principal, is our pal. Bucho looks at Mickey, like I told you at lunch. Exactly, but at lunch you also said, what other kind of principle is there? When in fact there are two. You had no clue about the other spelling, principle, which means a high standard that guides one's actions and reactions. You must have been looking at the insides of your eyelids when Miss Garza was going over that one. Watch yourself. No, watch yourself, Bernard. Mickey's trying to help, so help yourself by minding your temper. Yes, ma'am. Bernard, really? So here he's making fun of his name. Nobody knew that Bucho's name was actually Bernard. Bucho scowls and tentatively takes a step in Mickey's direction, but then he steps back. Allow me to go on. If you don't know how to spell both words, much less that there are two variations, then you couldn't have written this graffiti. He waves a hand at the wall. This tells me that our culprit is also studying vocabulary in Miss Garza's class, though it's obvious he's not learning. Well, spit it out. If it wasn't me, then who? Hey, Joe, can you come here? What's up, man? He refuses to acknowledge Bucho. Can you spell the word principal for us, as in Mrs. Abrigo, our school's principal? You know, like we were supposed to have learned in Miss Garza's class. Are you kidding me? Mickey? Ma'am, he motions as though for support from Mrs. Abrigo. Okay, then, go on, Joe, do as he says. Joe puffs out his chest proudly. Principal. P-R-I-N-C-I-P-L-E. As in, the last thing I want is to be sent to the principal's office. Satisfied? Quite. Quite indeed. Young man, though it's the last thing you want to do, you will follow me to my office. The two leave, though Mrs. Abrigo does put an arm around Joe's shoulders, indicating she will want to work with him in the same way she's been working with Bucho. Mickey, you did it. You proved my innocence. I also proved you need to pay more attention in class. Bucho looks to make sure Mrs. Abrigo is out of sight before taking a menacing step towards Mickey. Why, I oughta. So here, this is the end of our play. Mickey proves that Bucho couldn't have been the graffiti culprit. He could not have been the one that is guilty because he only knows the correct way to spell the word principal, the homophone principal, which means like a director of the school or the administrator of a school. However, here Mickey was able to show that Joe, who only knows the incorrect way to spell that word, is the culprit. So he is the one who is guilty. And we can predict in the future that maybe Mickey and Bucho will become friends because Bucho told Mrs. Abrigo that Mickey could help prove that he was innocent, and Mickey did just that. So let's go back to the essential question. Our essential question this week was on page 294. When are decisions hard to make? So here Mickey made a very difficult decision. So decisions are hard to make when your friends don't support you, right? When you are trying to do the right thing. So here Mickey wanted to give him the benefit of the doubt. He did not want to say that Bucho was guilty, so he was innocent until he was proven guilty. And in the end, Bucho wasn't guilty at all. It was Joe who was proven to be the magic marker mischief maker.